boy. KPC back at you, everybody. How are you all doing today? Where are you listening? In the car? At home? Doing cardio? Shout out to my boy Louie who listens while he does cardio. I'm not the cardio kind of guy, man. I don't know. Hope I'm doing it for you. Today, I am joined by my associate, my BFF, my crime partner. Introduce yourself again, one more time.
I'm JPC.
The JPC of the KPC. Back at it to give us a review. He loves movies like Daddy does, so we are going to talk about a movie that we saw together we loved, and we're going to bring it to you. So why don't you talk about the name of the movie, tell them what it's about, and we'll get into it afterwards. Go ahead.
This movie is Gran Turismo. It came out, I believe, a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
It is based on a true story
Closer.
that took place in 2010, I believe. And it's about a group of people who are really good at the game and get selected to drive real race cars.
That's it in a short story. Yeah, that's about it. I had some notes to me, and of course I've lost my notes because I don't know where the hell they are. But let's shoot off the top of my head as usual, like I always do with everything. So the game is the movie. It's about a young boy from England, um, lives in poverty, can't really afford to do anything. Now, all of us have played Gran Turismo one time or another, whether you're Forza. What have you played, JPC?
I play a lot of
Excuse me, I couldn't. What do you play?
Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo. Look at that. So this movie was pretty relevant to what you do. How did you feel looking at the kid playing Gran Turismo, knowing that was the way he led into actual racing?
I wish I was alive in that time period.
Well, actually, you are alive in that time period because what he did was successful, people. So what happened to him has turned to be a large success, which I'll talk about in a little bit. In many ways, um, the movie cut it very short. There's a lot of missing in between, but I'll talk about that in a second. So, as somebody, you're 12 years old, right?
Yeah.
So you are already learning how to drive manual.
Yeah.
Is that a yes or a no? I'm not really sure.
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. Because you were like, yeah, I'm like, oh. Does that mean when I'm not looking at using paddle shifters? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I am using that.
God, I really hope not. For those of you who do, no, you're not driving. No, don't tell me you are because you're not. And if that's the only choice you have, then you're excused. I totally understand. That's better than no shifting at all. But so, how do you feel when you see yourself, every day sitting here? Um, which I posted on our YouTube page and our TikTok, we have a racing cockpit that I put together for her with some help because man, I suck at it. I'm not good at building things. Um, how do you feel looking at you're sitting there racing, and so was this kid, and he did it for about 4 5 years. Um, do you think that you'd want to pursue racing or some sort of career on a racetrack, or would you want to actually get behind one of those cars?
I don't think I'd have the amazing skills to get behind one of those cars, but I think it's a pretty surreal experience to be behind one of those cars.
And if you could, what name a car you would like to drive on the track?
I don't really know many track cars. I just want to drive a Charger
What kind of Charger?
in 1969.
Okay, so you want to drive a '69 Charger RT. Not really a drag car. A lot of fun though. I'll give you some choices. A GTR is a drag car. 350Z could be a track car. Um, in the movie, he drives GTRs a lot. What do you think about those cars in general?
I like GTRs. I think they're a good driving car.
So, um, what kind of cars do you prefer in general? Like, what's your? Everybody has their niche, you know. Like I said yesterday in my podcast with Eric from Royal Standard Automotive. Shout out Eric, he did a great job in my car. wheels and tires, fantastic. I cannot believe I have 345s in the rear of a Mustang, and they sit like butter. Um, what kind of cars do you prefer?
I'm like an old school muscle car type of person.
What is it? Is this the shape JPC? What gets you about those cars?
See, I feel like the look is so iconic of those cars. I think they're built a little better. Like they look better than some of the cars I've seen nowadays.
So artistically, you're saying basically the shape you think is
Yeah.
better. Okay. What about how much do you care about power? I don't know. I mean, we've actually never talked about this. If you care that much about horsepower or not, or the way it drives, but I think you haven't really driven yet. So I don't know if you know what the feel feels like.
Yeah, not really. I don't really know.
So we'll find out when you get behind the wheel of a car how you feel about power. Because if we all know if you're into driving, it's never enough. There's no replacement for displacement for those gearheads out there. Like, it doesn't really work. It's never enough, unfortunately. All right, back to the movie. Before I even get into details, JPC, what do you give the movie out of 10? What's your rating?
I mean, I've out of racing movies. I mean,
No, 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 no.
overall,
let's take it as a movie. Just a movie.
an 8.2 out of.
Okay. 8.2, and why is that? Why the lower side critique?
I think it was a really heartfelt movie, but as I always say, I've seen better.
Hard film movie. So what are you seeing better than this when it comes to this kind of movie? Give us a
Ford
comparison.
versus Ferrari.
Uh, that is a little unfair. We have a Matt Damon and a Christian Bale collab. I mean, Matt Damon's playing a legend. That's Carol goddamn Shelby. It's not a joke. And Ken was played by Christian Bale, which, yeah, I have to admit, there's some amazing actors. There are some lines in that movie that drivers understand when he's like, "You're the steel car. She will tell you." If anybody's a driver, it's true. Car will tell you when you're driving, especially driving a manual. You drive like a 500 horsepower car like mine, and 3 7 gears in it. You know when it's time to shift, and you know when it's time to go. You know when you want to push it. I have that habit of driving at 4,000 RPMs all the time because the maximum power is at 5,000. So I have a bad habit of being at 4 grand all the time, which isn't that great. But you know what? I love the way it drives. That's the important part. Yeah, there were certain scenes in that movie that were definitely well done. Also, that movie is iconic. The movie
Yeah.
changed the history of Ford. Ford wasn't taken as seriously to that point. So the gravitas of that movie is a little bit more, in my opinion. But is that the only reason why? What? Okay, that's a good analogy. That's for this Ford leather car movie. What's a better, I should say, scenery cinematography wise? Because you really enjoyed the movie, as far as I could tell. You were very into it, right on the edge of your seat. Um, every race you were on the edge of your seat.
Maybe I will raise the score for this movie because
Oh, here we
looking
go.
back,
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
because okay,
We should have done this review after you saw it. I should have given it a 9.5.
that's true. I'll raise it to an 8.
Wow. Oh, what a miser. My God. I'm glad you're not my teacher. Jesus Christ. Alright. That's JPC's usual low score for everything. It's like nothing excites her. It's amazing. As for me, nah, I gotta give it at least a 9.3 or 9.4. Movie had everything in it. Screenplay very well written. The screenwriters, people that wrote the movie Sniper, they were set on this. Um, the director had directed District 9, if you've seen that before. Good director. He did a good job. He did a great job with the driving scenes. I have to admit that the way they cut them up from the asphalt, with the follow the cars, very, very good job. Very thrilling. Felt like you were in there. Cockpit scenes were done properly. Um, you saw one thing I love is you saw the G-force of the car. And those you would have just in the car that's really fast, you hit the gas, your head goes back really quickly, like snaps back. It's an amazing feeling, an amazing rush, but it's also scary if you're not used to it. You to be a good driver, you cannot have any fear. That's just that's the truth. Quick reaction times and no fear. And you got all that in the movie. Definitely brought that all out. The actor who played Jens, who played the main hero, did a great job. Very good acting. The actor who played his father did a fantastic job. Orlando Bloom played the man who thought of all this with Sony. So let me get the details again. What my daughter briefly put you into. Basically, there was a man who was into marketing, and he wanted to bring the next big thing out. And he had seen that Gran Turismo was literally a simulator. It is. I play it every single day, and it's hard. Last night I gave out a complete frustration. I had to leave. I'm driving a 350Z right now on a track, and in the game you can only upgrade your car so far. If you upgrade it too much, you're out of the rally. So I'm at the borderline of my upgrades. Um, I can't use my soft tires, which would give me better grip. Anyway, so it's kind of frustrating. But he saw the people who are playing this have a great skill. I mean, you play it. What do you think? Does it take skill?
Yeah, it takes a lot.
How frustrated do you get when you're playing it?
Really frustrating, and I know you know that.
That wheel's been ripped off one more time. Um, so he saw this and he said, "Let me bring this to somebody who can sponsor a race team." And I guess he had a connection at Nissan, and he went to Nissan. They said, "Listen, this is the next big thing in racing. You're not in racing right now. You want to get back in racing? Let's get back in racing, get on the map forever. These kids, they could bring it out to the real world. We could do it." And they get the green light to just make sure nobody gets hurt. He had to find somebody who's going to condition them and drive them technically. That's also very difficult too because nobody wants to take that job and assume that job. It's not an easy task at hand. He did find somebody played by David Harbour. With Hellboy, you also know from Stranger Things. He was a key figure in the movie because he plays kind of like the father role for him when he's not at home. Mentor, he's like kind of a Yoda, a little bit of a hard ass on him. There is that disbelief in the beginning, but Jen's been a believer out of him that he could really do this. So it was quite unique, actually. It's a journey together. Now, in the movie, if you go see the movie, if you don't see it in theaters, see it at home. Absolutely, I suggest you do. If you have a sort of surround system, it'll be even better to really feel it. Um, the movie they kind of simplified things a little bit. He went from the academy to his first race. They showed he had to get more races in. He had to get a car, a license. There were a lot more ups and downs, guys, in real life that I read about. Um, a lot of things where he made it, didn't make it. There's this one pivotal scene in the movie I want to talk about that changes everything. Um, you got to come. It was the comeback story at that point, and the final scene in the movie is where they all race Le Mans, which was kind of amazing because at that point, the other team members were kind of out. Jens was the only person actually doing anything on his own for a while, and those who graduated the academy were completely out of the hole. So they came back for the Le Mans and did a fantastic job. Placed third in Le Mans, which is unheard of. But that's that. JPC, before we get out, anything else you want to add about the movie? Anything else you want to say about the acting, cars?
Not really.
Mm. What was your favorite car in the movie? You don't know? You don't like any of them? Is that what it is?
I like all of them.
Okay. I can't pick one. That's totally different than knowing which one you like. I understand. I think my favorite was, mm, guys, they had a nice 350Z in the movie. They had a nice GTR in the movie. So I have to go 350 and 370Z. GTRs are great. Not saying they're not. The thing about those cars, I still love the way they look. I love the way they're shaped. I love the drive of them. A nice spoiler in the back, and good manual. Nothing to be said. So, guys, me, KPC, and my co-host,
JPC.
we are out. Thank you so much for listening. Please go see this movie. Again, I highly rate it. JPC, for her, highly rates it. Never gives anything good rating. But I really suggest you go see it. I think it's a great movie. You will love it. It will immediately want to make you go drive. And you have not played Gran Turismo. What are you waiting for? Get out there, get a PlayStation, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4. Um, get out there and play Gran Turismo. It's a fantastic game. The directors and the writers, the makers worked very hard to bring you real virtual reality. And if you love driving, you already know. And if you don't, give it a try. I'm JPC. I'm out. Thank you. Much love, people. Take care of yourself. Peace out.